got the money because you don't have a $1,200 stupid butt boat payment, okay? Now you've got the money because Sally Mae, the old woman sitting in the street, you done evicted her, okay? Now you've got the money because MasterCard is no longer there in your house and you haven't discovered bondage. Now you've got the money to downshift from intense to intentional. It's a mathematical thing now. That takes us to baby step 4. Now I'm gonna do a whole hour on investing later in the day, but baby step 4 is 15% of your income going into retirement. Now that's your whole household income. So husband plus wife, if you're married, what's the total times 0.15? Not 20%, not 25%, not 12%. I don't care what someone else is giving you in a pension or a match. You put in 15% of your money at baby step 4. And you can do that when you don't have any payments but a house payment. Albert Einstein said, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. You want to see what it looks like to pay it? Get out your mortgage amortization schedule. That's compound interest smacking you in the nose. You want to see what it looks like to earn it? Well, let's look at that. What if you invested $150 a month only? That's not 15%, that's a lot less. From age 25 to age 65. Now, by the way, the Standard & Poor's 500, which is the measure of the stock market's growth, since the stock market began, the average growth rate in the stock market from day one to today is 11.2%. So if you saved in an average S&P 500, if you averaged exactly what the stock market has averaged or a little less, at $150 a month from age 25 to age 65, you'd have $1.3 million. Dave, mutual funds are not the best strategy. You should diversify into real estate, single stocks, and Bitcoin. Said no millionaire ever. 78% of the people that day trade stocks lose money. Bitcoin is not investing, it's speculating. It's guessing. Now, if you want to guess with some of your money, you can do that at Vegas, you can do that by buying gold, you can do that by buying Bitcoin, but it's not investing. Investing is investing in something that has a long track record that is proven that you're gonna leave alone for a long time. And that's what you do, you're investing in. If you want to do some speculating, don't call it investing. It shows your ignorance, okay? So, by the way, millionaires don't do this stuff. The millionaires, their portfolios are disturbingly boring, really. And the other one is, Dave, 15% is not enough anymore because, you don't know about inflation, do you, Dave? You're a boomer, aren't you, Dave? You bought your house with 2 baskets of strawberries, didn't you, Dave? Have you seen the videos? They're funny. There's a lot of them making fun of me. I'm really good clickbait. There's a guy puts a little piece of hose on his head and he's trying to be Dave. It's hilarious. He's really funny. It's cute as it can be. It's wrong, but it's cute. 15% is no longer enough. So let's walk through this. This is baby step 4, right? Does anybody remember what baby step 7 was? After you paid off your house, you invest and build wealth, right? Would you probably be putting in more than 15% at that point? So this is not forever, just like the $1,000 emergency fund was not forever. This is a step. It's not a forever. But if you only say 15%, let's play around with what would happen. If that's all you ever did. Let's say you're 30 years old and you say 15% of your income and you get a 10% rate of return. Let's dumb it down a little bit. And you do that to age 65. Your average household income in America right now is $77,000. 15% of that saved from age 30 to age 65, 35 years at 10% is $3.6 million. So if I'm half wrong, you're gonna be okay. Oh, and by the way, let's look at the assumptions on this, okay? This person makes an average household income, and for 35 years, they did not get a raise. Starting at average is one thing. Never getting a raise in 35 years from average, you're pretty much a loser. How is this even possible, okay? You with me? So what you would normally do in a financial projection is you would project the income going up and the 15% number would change. And so the 3.6 is gonna look a lot more like 10, okay? If you really put it in an actual model of what's probably really gonna happen. But I dumb these down because everybody's like, can't do that. Where are you going to get that kind of money? S&P 500. If you don't do anything but that, and I'll teach you a lot better later, but if that's all you do, 3.6 million, and that's if you never get a raise and you start at average. Wow. So I don't know, maybe it's not enough, but there's 26 million millionaires in America. There's approaching 40 million people. So that means if you have $1 million in America today in net worth, you are in the top 5.5% of Americans, okay? 95% of the people in America have less than you. If you have 3.6, by the way, starts getting small, okay? So I don't know if it's enough or not, but it's more than you got. Most of you anyway, okay? So there you go. So maybe we ought to try something different if we want something different. If you've been planting corn, you keep getting something other than corn, you got the wrong corn. So you got to try something different. Step 5, then, we're going to save up and pay for our kids' college. The first rule of college is pay cash. There is no good student loan. There is no circumstance under which you should do a student loan. Ever, 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 ever. Because here's what happens right now. 21% of young adults right now are delaying getting married. 31% of young adults are delaying moving out of their parents' home. Oh, God! 40% of young adults delay saving for retirement. 47% of young adults are delaying buying a home because of student loan debt. And that is even assuming that they got a student loan in a subject that made them employable versus left-handed puppetry. Or I got a degree in something that qualifies me to be a barista. And I'll live in my mother's basement for the rest of my life. Yeah. So, and they paid $250,000 for that opportunity. And it's completely freaking useless. So includes those, and includes people who got a great marketing degree, a great communication degree, a great degree in something else that actually caused them to be able to go make money because they've got that degree. A logistics degree is really sweet right now. Supply chain, come out making almost 6 figures as a college kid right now. That. Oh, by the way, how about information systems or cybersecurity? Oh, wow, definitely worth the money, right? All kinds of good stuff out there. So you save in an ESA, an educational savings account, or a 529 for your kid. And you don't have to start putting a lot away right now. Right now we're putting 15% in baby step 4, simultaneously is 4, 5, and 6. 4 is getting 15% from my retirement plan and my wealth building. We'll start putting something aside for the kiddos. And well, Dave, what if my kid doesn't go to college? Well, if you've got a bunch of money in your 529, you can transfer it to another family member with no penalty at all. If your kid does go to college and gets a bunch of scholarships, because everybody's like, well, what if my little genius gets scholarships? My little guy's gonna be the quarterback. So he's gonna get scholarships and NIL, shut up. He's 4, we'll wait and see, okay? But see if he survives travel ball first, but oh God. So if your kid gets scholarships, you're allowed to withdraw from the 529 the amount of the scholarship every year tax-free. So you got a $20,000 scholarship, it's the value of the scholarship's $20,000. You can take $20,000 out of the 529, no penalty. You had tax-free growth on the money. And so if your little genius is a little genius, then that happens. Well, Dave's college is a scam. It's no longer worth the money. Not true. College is worth the money if you study the right things, at the right place, at the right price. What's not worth the money is the name brand of the college. There's 0 data that says where you went to school is tied to your success. 0. None Harvard. None Yale, none Vanderbilt, 0 data that says where you went to school is equated with your success level. No one can find it anywhere. Lots of data associated with a quality education that puts tools in your belt and enables you to make your way through the world more efficiently than not having those tools in your belt. So education, the right kind of education that has a utilitarian value in the marketplace, is worth more than it costs. You should go to college if you want to go to college. You could go to the trades too. There's nothing wrong with that. My friend Mike Rowe and I have a lot of discussions about this, and I love him and I agree with him. You can be a welder right now and make $110,000 a year. You can go to code school for 15 or 20 grand and make 110, 120 as a Dev 1 entering the market. I got Dev 1s all over the building down here. and they're making good money. And if they keep studying, they can be a Dev 2, Dev 3, platform engineer, architect, all the cyber architect, cybersecurity, all that stuff. And we're talking $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year, and never got a college degree. All they have is a Microsoft certs and the other miscellaneous code certifications, and they mentor under code geniuses and work their way up through the tech world. That's out there too. So you don't have to go to college to succeed, but by the way, you never have. That was a lie that they told people. You had to go to college to succeed. But going to college, never, because the whole thing's a scam, is not true. But don't overpay for it. I mean, Vanderbilt's right now, I think it's like $80,000 or $75,000 a year. University of Tennessee, in-state school, I think it's like $14,000 a year. Now, is Vanderbilt worth, what is that, 7, 8 times as much? No, there's no data that shows that. As a matter of fact, I've got incomplete data that shows that it's not worth that, because I graduated from the University of Tennessee, and people that graduate from Vanderbilt work for me. So I don't know, that's incomplete, but you know. Maybe step 6, pay off your home early. Dave, you should never pay off your house, said broke people. As we studied the millionaires, here's what we discovered. The typical millionaire, 70, 80% of them, which is statistically significant beyond belief, more than I thought it would be. There's 2 main elements that cause them to get their first $1 to $5 million of net worth. Now, not 50 million, but 1 to 5 million, okay? To hit the first million of net worth, and your net worth is what you own minus what you owe. That's your net worth. When that's $1 million, you're a millionaire by definition. It's an accounting definition, it's not a feeling. And it's not a moral construct that you hate because you're a communist. It's an accounting construct, okay? You can be morally outraged about any amount if you want to. I don't care, that's up to you. But so you got $1 million, the first 1 to 5 million in the millionaires. Here's what we typically found. They were unbelievably boring. Almost every one of them sounded like this. They're 52 years old. The kids are grown and gone. The house is paid for. It's worth $600,000 or $700,000. And for the last 18 years, they've been putting money steadily into their 401k or their Roth IRA, and they got $700,000 or $800,000 in that. So $700,000 or $800,000 in that, plus a $600,000 paid for house. They got a net worth of $1.3 million, $1.5 million, and they're a typical millionaire. That's your first millionaire. That's the first thing you do to get there. So paying off your house is the thing. And there's a whole bunch of you in here right now that are millionaires. I know some of you. And that's how you got there for your first $1 to $5 million worth of net worth. Now, it's not 50 million, and millionaires aren't billionaires. Billionaires have jets, millionaires don't. Billionaires have 7 houses, millionaires don't. They got 1. Billionaires have a car collection, millionaires have 2, okay? And they're old. And so, you know, and they don't care what you think, by the way. They don't care what you think at all. Believe me, they don't care what you think. So, you should pay off your house early. No, Dave, instead of paying off your house, you should invest the money in the market and let it grow. Borrowing money on my house in order to put money into mutual funds, well, although I do believe in mutual funds, is not in the data. The number of millionaires that did that and it caused them to become wealthy, they leveraged their residence into mutual funds, was precisely 0. We did not find one that did that. Not one. And we didn't just interview people we liked, we interviewed people that didn't even know who we were. Lots of them. The data is, and the research methodologies, stone cold. We dialed it in so tight. So paying off the house, right? Well, Dave, there's tax benefits to keeping a mortgage. Oh God, you're killing me. All right, let me help you with this. Standard deduction for 2024 is $27,700 for married filing jointly. So if you're doing your taxes and you're married, you get to write off $27,700 automatically and file a 1040 easy. Done. You don't write off your charitable that way. Unless it's in excess of 27, you wouldn't do that because you lose. If you want to do itemized, you can't do the standard. Okay, so if you've got enough business depreciation, charitable giving, and other things to do a long form, you have to. It has to be more than $27,000 for it to make sense. Do you understand that? Is this thing on? Do y'all understand that? Yes. Okay, so here's what happens. In America last year, 90% of Americans took the standard deduction. Only 10% of us itemized, okay? So if you take the standard deduction, it means you do not write off anything, you just take the standard deduction. which means you don't write off your home interest.
Dave Ramsey emphasizes the importance of eliminating debt, particularly the stupid payments that hold people back financially. He illustrates this by talking about how getting rid of unnecessary expenses like boat payments, student loans, and credit card debt frees up significant money that can be better used for building wealth. Once you've eliminated these debts, you can move on to investing 15% of your household income into retirement, which he refers to as baby step 4. Ramsey explains the power of compound interest, highlighting how even a small investment of $150 a month can grow to over $1.3 million over 40 years if invested in a fund that mirrors the S&P 500's historical average return of 11.2%. He dismisses the idea that more speculative investments like day trading stocks, Bitcoin, or real estate are better alternatives, arguing that these methods are not proven wealth-building strategies. Instead, he advocates for consistent long-term investing in stable assets. He addresses the criticism that 15% is not enough to secure a comfortable retirement, particularly given inflation. Ramsey points out that this step is not meant to be the final investment amount, but a starting point. He reassures listeners that once they reach baby step 7, after paying off their home, they will likely invest much more than 15%, further securing their financial future. Ramsey also talks about the importance of paying for college without taking on student loans. He cites statistics showing that student loan debt is delaying major life milestones for many young adults, such as getting married, moving out of their parents' homes, saving for retirement, and buying a house. He advises saving in an educational savings account, ESA, or a 529 plan to ensure that children can attend college debt-free, and he dismisses the notion that college is no longer worth the cost as long as the right major is chosen. He is clear about his stance on mortgages, insisting that paying off your home early is one of the best ways to build wealth. Ramsey's research into millionaires revealed that the majority of them paid off their homes early and then invested steadily in their 401ks or Roth IRAs. He refutes the idea that keeping a mortgage for the sake of tax benefits or investing in the stock market instead of paying off the home is a wise strategy, noting that none of the millionaires he studied achieved their wealth by leveraging their homes in this way. Ramsey also debunks the myth that there are significant tax benefits to keeping a mortgage. He explains that the standard deduction in 2024 is $27,700 for married couples filing jointly, and 90% of Americans take this standard deduction, which means they do not itemize their deductions and therefore cannot deduct their mortgage interest. He points out that those who claim keeping a mortgage for tax benefits are likely misunderstanding the actual financial implications. He continues to stress the importance of making wise financial decisions that align with long-term goals rather than falling for popular financial myths. Ramsey encourages people to live like no one else now by avoiding debt and making smart investments so that they can live and give like no one else later. This involves building wealth methodically and intentionally rather than seeking quick fixes or risky investments. Lastly, Ramsey reiterates the importance of discipline and long-term thinking in financial planning. He explains that wealth building is not about flashy investments or following trends, but about making consistent, smart decisions over time. By following his baby steps plan, Ramsey believes anyone can achieve financial peace and security, regardless of their starting point. In conclusion, Ramsey's message is clear: avoid debt, invest consistently, and make informed financial decisions to secure a prosperous and generous future. His approach is grounded in practical, proven strategies that focus on building wealth slowly and steadily, rather than chasing quick riches or relying on financial shortcuts.